We are Ham Radio. Welcome back, everybody. It's Freddie Mac, your Ham Radio Crusader, and I'm back with another video. So I got an email the other day from one of the board members over at allstarlink.org. Yeah, allstarlink.org. And I'm like, okay, what's this about? And he continues to explain to me, and we have a video meeting, that they're about to release ASL 3, AllStarLink 3, the ASL version, version 3. Do you want to review it? Do an exclusive video? And I'm like, yeah, I sure do. Super opportunity of a lifetime. And I tell you what, I've been evaluating it for a little while now, and it is stable and it is great. It's running on asterisk version 20. HamVoIP runs on asterisk 1.1. It's like a 15-year jump in versions, and it's long-term supported from here on out. So yeah, this is a big deal. So I did a quick install video. Take a look right there. Okay, folks, let's get started. This is how we begin. After you've downloaded your ASL 3 image, you're going to want to download and install the Raspberry Pi imager. I currently have version 1.8.5. At the time of this recording, it was the latest version. So once you have it downloaded and installed, you're going to hit choose device. And for this instance, yeah, we're going to use a Raspberry Pi 5. That's right, ASL 3 works on a Raspberry Pi 5. I'm super stoked and excited. Next thing we're going to do is hit choose OS. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and click the use custom section and navigate to where our ASL 3 image is located. And there it is. At the time of this recording, the latest image is 3.0.7. We're going to hit that, click open, and then we're going to choose the storage. And for this one, it's going to be the generic mass storage class media, 31.9 gigabytes. And we're going to click next. Now, this is a very important step, and we have to use the Raspberry Pi imager for this, for burning this image onto the micro SD card, because we have to establish some custom settings here. So hit edit settings, and this particular node that we are about to burn for is going to be my node 576336. So we have to set a host name, and I like to call it something I'm going to recognize. So I'm going to call it node 576336.local. That will be the local host name for this image. And the username I like to use KD5FMU, and for the purposes of this video, we are going to set the password at capital P lower A S S W O R D 2024. And this is important to me because it simplifies the process. You don't have to do a wireless LAN configuration. You don't have to put it on a wireless LAN. You can just hardwire it into your Raspberry Pi. I choose to configure a wireless LAN. The name of my SSID at home is Mandalore, and I'll type in the Wi-Fi password. And there it is. And set the wireless LAN country to US if it isn't already, and set your local time zone. This is very important for the process. I like to click on services and make sure enable SSH is selected, and the radio button for use password authentication is selected. And then you can hit save. And then we can hit yes. All existing data on the generic mass storage media will be erased. Yes, we know. So we're going to hit yes, and we're going to let it continue. And since this is an Apple device, I have to type in my password. And now it's going to write the image. All right, now our image has written, and we can continue, and we can remove the SD card from the reader. Now, I'm going to step away from the radio. I'm going to step away from the computer for just a moment and pop this SD card into my Raspberry Pi 5. So we put our imaged SD card into our Raspberry Pi, and we've given it ample time to boot up. Now, we already know what the host name is because we plugged it in. We typed it in to the Raspberry Pi imager. So since it's booted up, let's just give that host name a try. Node 576336.local. Hit enter. and boom, we get this beautiful landing page. Yes, this is the AllStarLink 3 landing page. We've got the web admin portal, known as the cockpit. We've got the node links, and this is where we access allmon 3, and this is the ASL manual. But we want to start at the web admin portal. So let's just click on that. And it's going to say, hey, your connection is not private. Well, we know this, and we know where it's coming from, so we can trust it. So we're going to hit that and proceed to the node, and we get this beautiful login page into the cockpit. And if you remember, we put in Katie5FMU as the username, and the password is PASSWORD2024. And we can check it right here and log in. And here's this beautiful cockpit dashboard landing page. We've got an overview telling us about the health of our Pi, the usage of the CPU and the memory, some system information, and some configuration information. We've got a spot here for different logs, storage information, networking, accounts, services, etc. But the first thing that we want to do, especially on a new install, is come to software updates and let it check for new packages. We want to make sure our operating system and our ASL3 is up to date. So we've got all of this, 13 updates waiting. So let's just install them all. Click reboot after completion. And if you want, you can view the update log. And we're going to wait for this to finish. Now, the fact that it says disconnected here means that the Pi is rebooting. It's got all its updates downloaded and installed, and we'll just give it a few seconds here for the Pi to reboot, and we will reconnect to it. Okay, so let's hit the reconnect button, and we're back to our login screen, which is right where we should be after a reboot. It's going to check software status again, tell us we're up to date, because we are, really. We can take a look at all this other stuff in depth later, but first of all, we're going to head to the terminal and start configuring our node. Now, from the terminal, we should be able to type in asl.menu. Oh, looky there. This script must be run as root or with sudo. So let's just type in sudo space asl-menu and hit enter. And now we have the AllStarLink 3.0 main menu, and we're going to start configuring our node. So we're going to start with number 1 under node settings. And then we're going to hit number 1 under that menu for AllStar node setup menu. And you can see node number under option 1 is 1999. Now that's just the default, so we're going to set it to R. So let's select that one. Back out the 1999, we're going to type in 576336. Tab over to OK. Then we're going to go down to the node password. Well, where's the node password? Well, if you'll remember back when you registered for your AllStarLink node number, it's under allstarlink.org portal node settings. Be sure you log in first, of course, because you probably won't see this until you do. But you're going to go to Portal Node Settings, and you're going to get this page. So we're going to do 576336, and if you hover over right here, you'll get your password. Just copy that. Come back to your terminal, back out of that default password, paste in your actual password, tab down to OK, and hit enter. So now we're going to do node call sign, and then I'm going to type in Katie5FMU, tab down to OK. Now your call sign will go here, not mine. Radio interface. Awesome. Simple USB is the first selection. If you're using a DMK Systems URI-X or an RA-40 type of sound fob, I use the Techno by George ARA1. That's what they're referring to here, because it doesn't have DSP. If you're using a USB radio device that does use DSP, you'd select number 2, or a radio thin client or voter boards, the RTCM board. We'll do more videos on that in the future. You would select number 3, or if you're doing just a radioless hub or a cloud server hub, you'd want to choose number 4. And number 5 is the USRP selection. But we're going to choose number 1, hit enter. Takes us back to the previous menu, and number 5 is the duplex type 2, so let's hit enter there. We want, from this particular setup, because it's a single radio setup, we want to do half duplex with telemetry, otherwise known as a hotspot or a wide area link. But you can see number 2 has the asterisk star next to it for a repeater. So how do we change it? Well, I like to hit the down arrow 1, 2 times, and look at that. The number 2 has a red cursor around it because it was under 0. We just couldn't see it. So we'll go up 1, hit the space bar, and now number 1 is selected. So we're going to tab down to OK, hit it. We're going to go down to Post Node Status. And what that means is, do you want your node to communicate its telemetry information to AllStarLink's registry servers? Well, sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. I want that to happen because I want people to know if I'm available or not. Go down to number 7, Node Access List. If you want to configure a allowed or unallowed nodes to your node, you could configure that here, but we're going to leave that open for this demonstration. And we're going to go on down to number 8, interface the tune command line interface. And this is where we'll set our sound settings, where our Raspberry Pi will communicate with our radio through our sound fob board. Oh, but it says, hey, we must restart the asterisk server because we did make some changes, so we'll keep it on yes, hit enter. And we'll wait for asterisk to reboot. This is that tune command line interface. So it's stating at the top the active simple USB radio device is 576336, and that is correct. If we had more than one on this node, it would probably tell us right there. But number 1, it says to select the active USB device. We're going to hit number 1. And the choice of number 1 is our only choice, really, because that's the one that we want. We'll hit number 1 there, hit enter. Okay, number 2 is set the receive voice level. And we can do that, but I know for my radio setup, I've got to go down and change letter J from USB invert to no. Otherwise, my radio won't work. So I'm going to hit the letter J, hit number 1 to select no, hit enter. And now I'm going to push the PTT on my walkie-talkie that will talk to my radio, my node radio. And it is working. All right, so I'm going to hit number 2. We're going to set that, see if we can get some receive audio in and see where the levels are at. K85 FMU. Well, we want that arrow to be between these 2 markers. And it was a little low, so we're going to hit enter, and the default set at 500, so we're going to set it at around 650. Hit enter. K85 FMU, testing 1, 2, 3. It's going to be borderline, but we're going to leave it right there for right now. Hit enter. Hit enter again because we want to leave it where it's at. And then we're going to hit the letter W to write our settings to memory. So let's hit the letter E to toggle the echo mode. And that refreshed really fast because we're running a really fast Pi, a Pi 5. K85 FMU, testing 1, 2, 3.
K85 FMU, testing 1, 2, 3.
Now that sounded a little low, so we're going to set our transmit levels up. So we're going to select 3 and 4, but we'll do them one at a time. So hit number 3, hit enter. The default's at 500, so we'll set it to 600, hit enter. Then we'll select number 4, default's at 500, we'll set it to 600, hit enter. Then we'll hit W to write our settings, and we'll test it again. K85 FMU, testing 1, 2, 3.
K85 FMU, testing 1, 2, 3.
That actually sounded pretty good, so we're going to leave it right there. Hit W to write our changes. Hit the number 0 to exit that menu because that's all we're going to do in that menu at this time. Now these CLI simple USB settings were for the TYT TH9000D radio connected to a Techno by George ARA1 sound fob. Alright, so now we can tab down to back. We don't have to update the AMI password. You can do that if you want to, but be careful, you have to do it in a few other places, so we're going to leave it alone for now. And we have to update the asterisk IAX port, and IAX stands for Inter Asterisk Exchange Port. The default is 4569, but I have another node on my home network, so we're going to change that to 4588 because that's the way I've set it in my home router. And hit OK, and looky there, we've got to restart our Asterisk server because we made a change. So let's hit enter there and give that Asterisk server a chance to restart. Then our node sounded off, and now it's going to ID. Okay, now this B right here is the backup and restore menu. If you want to back up your configuration for this node, you can do it here either on the local machine or on the cloud, but we're not going to cover that in this video, but just know that it's available. We're going to go back down to back, go back up a menu, and right here is the Asterisk command line interface, and this will let you know what's going on in the Asterisk server background. If you watch it long enough, you will see some commands, or you will see some status messages scroll on by, and you can also make commands and command line interface entries here to control the node if you wanted to. It's the bare bones basic way of doing it, but it's here in case you want to. But if you want to get out of it, just type exit, and we're back to our menu. You have a diagnostics menu here as well. It lets you ping the Google DNS or the register at allstarlink.org. It kind of helps you figure out if you've got an internet connection established properly. And you can restart the Asterisk server here, or start it or stop it, or whatever you want to do. So we're not going to do anything here. I just want you to know that it's there. So we're going to tab down to back to main menu. We're going to go to the expert configuration menu. Now from here you can edit your rpt.conf file if you need to, your iax.conf, your extensions, modules, manager, echo link settings, USB radio, simple USB, and voter.conf if you need to, and just, you know, those things that in case you need to. This is a little more advanced, but this is where you'll find them, just so you know where they're at. Tap to back to main menu. And right here is number 7 is the log out, reboot, shutdown. If you want to log out of this menu or out of the node, you can reboot the node or shut it down from here. And number 8 is disable the ASL menu at login, which means this menu would pop up every time you entered into the terminal, but I choose to leave it off at this time. And then you got another backup and restore menu. We're not going to cover that just now. And that's all the information that we're going to cover at the menu level. Just know that your first node is configured. So let's tab down to exit to main menu and confirm it. And we should be ready to check our allmon. If you'll remember, here at our landing page, we first access the web admin portal. Well, now we want to connect node links, which is our gateway here to allmon 3. But there's one more thing we've got to do before we do that. So let's go back to that terminal in the cockpit. And we've got to erase and take away the default password to allmon 3 that comes with it. So I've got 3 commands that we need to run. The first one deletes the default allmon password. But before we go there, we've got to change directories. We're going to cd to etc allmon 3 and hit enter. And now we're going to paste that first command in and hit enter. And it's done. So now we're going to put in we're going to tell it we want to change the password for username admin. Hit enter, and now it needs a new password. So we're going to type in capital P, lower ASSWORD 2024 and hit enter. And we're going to confirm it because it wants to know that you know what you know. And now that's done. So the last thing that we have to do is restart the allmon 3 service. Copy this command, paste it in, and hit enter. And now we should be ready to log in to allmon 3. So let's go back to our landing page here, hit node links, and it says, hey, your connection's not private. We don't know what's going on about all this. Well, never fear. This is all coming from your local node, so The computer doesn't know that, but you know that. So hit advanced, proceed to the node, and here is allmon 3. Look at that. This little green bar right here tells us we're doing good because it's talking to the node. So let's click login. We're going to type in that admin right here. And that password is PASSWORD2024. That's just what I used. Hit enter and the login is successful. So now we can access some commands right here on the allmon 3 monitoring dashboard, which is very, very cool in my opinion. Because not only do you get this description right here from the AllStarLink registers, gives you an uptime, and then right here, view ASL node map for this node. You can hit enter, and what you get is the bubble chart. Yes, if you were connected to other nodes, it would show up here. The second icon is the view the ASL stats for this node. You can click on that and it will take you to the allstarlink.org stats page for that node. And you can click here for the bubble chart and see the other connections that it may have, but right now this one has none. So the third button is execute linking commands for this node. This is how you can get it to connect to other nodes. So we'll start with the 55553 parent node. Choose the command connect, hit execute.
Node 55553 connected to node 57636.
And we are connected to the parent node in Plano, Texas, and let's give it a try. K85 FMU testing 1 2 3.
Audio level is low. K85 FMU testing 1 2 3.
And it does sound a little low, doesn't it? Let me speak up a little bit. K85 FMU testing 1 2 3.
Audio level is normal. K85 FMU testing 1 2 3.
And we could tweak those audio levels in the simple USB CLI. All right, now we're done with the parent node, so we could come right up here to the chains and execute a disconnect command. But I want to show you a cute little trick. Notice how the node number here is empty, the node block. Close that out, double click on 55553. Now click it, and now this little block is populated. Choose your command to disconnect, hit execute.
Node 55553 disconnected.
And now we are disconnected. And you get a red line here when it's transmitting or doing telemetry or playback, but once the node is clear, it goes to green, knowing that everything is cool. So this last icon here is an execute system commands for this node, and there's a bunch of different commands that you can do. But for this example, we'll do say time of day local only. So it's only playing it over the radio and not over the network to everyone else connected to us.
Good evening. The time is 10:47 p.m.
And there's the time. All right. So we can close this and know that, hey, we're doing good, and this is our allmon 3 page. And the more nodes you add, they'll be listed over here and more listed down here. Public nodes or private nodes, however you wish, that's how it will be displayed here. So we can log out now of our allmon 3 and know that our node is now configured. Advanced configuration will be coming in future videos with all kinds of different configurations. ASL version 3 supports AllScan, and it also supports Skywarn Plus. Two very, very important parts of AllStar in my opinion. A lot more coming, folks. This is allmon 3 on the ASL version 3 of AllStarLink from those fine folks at allstarlink.org. So this new version takes care of a lot of bug fixes, addresses a lot of security issues, and dadgummit, it's just stable. So give it a chance. AllStarLink 3. We shouldn't be running from our future. We should be running to it. I think you'll love it. Give it a shot. This is Freddie Mac, your ham radio crusader, saying 73s, wishing all the good signals to be yours. And ham on, y'all.